Good afternoon, and welcome to DieDragonDie presents the Legends Campaign, Episode 10, Petrified. I'm your host and resident...
I don't want to be petrified.
I'm your host and resident GM, DM, storyteller, referee extraordinaire, Marty. I actually got a lot of sleep last night, so I'm feeling pretty good for a game today, which means I'm just going to get to screw over my players a little bit extra brain power.
It's going to go well with the hangover I have.
Yay!
Awesome. I'm joined by my fellow friends and colleagues of chaos, Adam, Ahmed, and John.
I like that.
Colleagues
of
chaos.
chaos.
Things are just coming. They're tumbling out today, so be prepared.
Oh no, that thing!
Are you going to go to the can? Is that what it means?
How is?
You going to sit on your porcelain palace?
How is everyone doing?
Good. I had a productive day, productive week at work. I had worked my ass off a lot. I had like a 10-hour day on Thursday. It was crazy.
Do you get paid by the hour?
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
a little bit overtime's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you get paid overtime?
No, I had to actually cut those hours out of a different day.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's in lieu.
To leave early on Friday, basically.
Yeah. It is really hot here. It's like 35 Celsius plus humidity, which is like a billion. It's almost body temperature, so like 95, 96.
And that's in Canada, folks. It does get warm in certain parts of Canada.
Oh yeah. It's hot and humid and gross. And then my father-in-law's down. He doesn't speak any English, so that's been fun. He got lost once, and we had to call the cops and fill out the missing persons form. That was interesting.
Oh no.
He was gone for 7 hours trying to find his way home.
Oh yeah, did you give him a cell phone?
He has a cell phone. The cell phone has a Chinese number on it, and he didn't have the address on it. He had the address, he wrote down the number, but he didn't have the street. So he just said, I want to go to 737.
No. You should give him just think low tech. Give him a piece of paper that says, if lost, please call.
Please call. Return
and
to.
then you instruct him in Chinese. If you're lost, just go and show.
Give this somebody. And
give him
we
a
have all
piece
that
of paper,
in his cell
you got
phone now. All the memos on the phone, they're all there now. And he has this piece of paper with the emergency numbers.
You're living the dream, buddy.
The police forms were interesting because we filled out an hour of paperwork.
Stay away from that crazy Chinese guy with the paper on his head. I don't know what he's trying to do.
The sticky note on his head.
So the puppy actually didn't even mind the 7-hour warning walk that it had.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I imagine. Puppy's like, let's do it again.
Like, the area where he's...
So he had the dog with him?
Very straightforward.
Yeah, he had the puppy, the 3-month-old puppy.
Okay.
So how did you find him? Was he sitting on the side, like kind of like a homeless man with like a dog?
He asked a person for help, and then he tried to give him the address, and it didn't work. So they drove him to the nearest big thing, which was the mall. So he was at the mall with a puppy dog, looking confused. And he basically would go into the mall for the air conditioning because the dog gets overheated and it's bad. And then he would go on a little journey from the mall to see if he could find something he recognized, and then he'd go back to the mall, cool the puppy down again.
7 hours later. Well, I'm glad you found him in the same day. Because after a threshold, it would be, we found him 24 hours later.
Yeah, yeah. No,
he cuddled with Bubba.
Well, it was interesting because filling out the forms was also kind of fun because it was like description.
Chinese.
6'1" Chinese guy with a puppy. And then it's like, huh? It's like, yeah, 6'1". Big, tall ass Chinese dude.
As soon as you give him the papers and like Jessica's gone, he's like, yeah, roughhouse him, he stole from me. Mess him up a bit.
The only time I was asked about that was actually in Egypt.
Oh, if you want to rough somebody
where
up.
a cop asked me if he wanted me to rough somebody up. That was...
Do they was that just like a courtesy, or was he expecting a little more money?
Well, no. So what happened was,
I was asking if you wanted to get
Egypt story. Quick Egypt story. I was in Egypt, and in Egypt, this was before all the problems in Egypt. So there were still problems, obviously, but before the new problems of Egypt. And everybody likes to touch you. They touch you and try to sell you stuff, right? They put things in your pocket and ask you for money. And somebody was touching me, and I said, "Stop touching me." And he kept, oh, my friend, no, touching. I was like, no, don't touch me. And then, so I pulled out $20. And I said, don't touch me. He's like, then he now he wants $20. And then I'm like, I wave the cop over, and I give the cop $20.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't realize that $20 was like, you want me to take him to the alley and beat him? I thought this was just make him go away money. Because I know in Egypt sometimes it's like you ask the cop for directions, you need to give him a little bit of money. They've got machine guns.
Right.
So
you're not paying their taxes.
exactly.
They're probably not getting a very good wage either.
Probably not. No.
30 hours.
That's so funny. When we're seeing him back and beat him.
Well, that was the question. It's like, no. Just I feel bad now. Just I want him not
take his kids away. Got it.
Trying to upsell you, like we could shoot him for another $10.
Oh god.
How is the stream?
Looks good. So far, it looks good.
It sounds good too.
Okay, mine is for some reason having a hard time loading. I'm just gonna stop it for now, so I'm not taxing my own bandwidth. But if you guys can keep an eye on the stream, I'm both hosting and DMing, so I don't have time to interact with the stream. But Ahmed, John, and Adam will. We've got no Mark this week. He is moving homes, and then he's dealing with his wife, if you remember from last week, who insisted that they would go take their trailer to a provincial park. So I imagine he's got his stuff all over the place.
See, that's his story. I do have a theory of my own, though. I might not be able to broadcast it.
Is there only one plausible explanation of it?
Only one.
It's the same explanation every time anyone's missing. Every time.
Sorry, we missed you, Ahmed.
Experimentally tested on.
And how was Airsoft last week?
Airsoft was fantastic.
All right.
Did you sleep in a hay bale for like 3 hours?
Didn't sleep at all.
I quit
no
sleep.
In hour 19, so I let them mess around for another hour on their own as I packed. Because 400 people leaving the same area at the same time, bad idea. So.
How long?
400 people with no
The
sleep.
game we started from started at noon and we finished at noon to 7 a.m. Noon Saturday to 7 a.m. It's fantastic. I went.
Okay.
Yeah. I went with my guys, my team. We're 11 people, and we actually trained together. I'm not going to say any more because I want to be here in the country next week. I am the only guy who's brown on the team, so I make all the brown jokes. Whenever I don't get my way, it's like it's because I'm brown, isn't it? Anyway.
They immediately all start apologizing.
Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Me too.
No browns rule, only one brown allowed. Anyway, it was fun. We had
Wait a second.
we went on the field. We our team won. I carried 2,800 rounds every time I went out. I spent most of it. I spent a lot of rounds. It was fun. It was.
I've played these. Usually, you don't have that much to shoot at.
No. This is 200 guys on each side.
Oh, so the place is busy.
It's huge. The place is huge. It is 7 buildings, multiple stories, outdoors, indoors. There's vehicles. It's the biggest thing in Canada. What were your colors
for it?
We were tan. The other guys were green.
Do you keep track of stats?
What you do is you keep track of how long a building is controlled by one side, and there are flags all over the place, and they go around and count how many flags are, for each team, and there's special missions that you do. That some groups are sent to do special missions during the night.
So were you one of the heroes of your winning side, or?
Well, I was trying to be. Our special mission was we had to secure like an MVP and bring him back to our line. So did the other side, same guy. So I dived through the window because the main door is like there's gunfire. So I dived through one of the side windows to try to get the guy. Look at him. He's like,
on your ribs, right?
No. My ribs have healed.
Good.
He's like, I'm 180 pounds. I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. So that's usually no problem. I can throw a 180-pound guy, fireman, carry out it, no problem. But not after 4 a.m. Well, I've been running around the whole
you do?
day carrying like 50, 60 pounds of stuff. So I'm like, yeah, he's on the ground. I'm like, yeah, sure, hold on. We'll be out of here real soon. Yes, we're gonna need some backup here. Failed my strength check, failed my con check, I failed a lot of stuff right now. Yeah,
I'll carry your 180-pound dude anywhere you need.
Yeah.
Just call Adam. Adam!
It's funny. The window was tiny, right? I'm trying to fit through. I'm like, okay. So I take all my gear off so that I don't get caught on anything and like get stuck halfway and all messed up. So take all my stuff off and dive through, and the guy's like, oh, I thought you were gonna get stuck in that thing. And I'm like, yeah. So on the other side, all I had was one of my grenades. Right. That's it. That's all I could fit with.
That's the perfect thing for close quarter combat.
Yes, it is.
No, that's
when
the thing, right?
When you're in close
That's the
quarters,
thing.
what
We
what
didn't have
thing
a
you
roof.
need is a grenade.
I
Wait
didn't
a
have a
second.
roof
There
on
was
the
that thing
building,
we said
and I
earlier,
heard
we didn't want
guys
to talk
on the
about
other
it.
side of the wall. There were guys on the other side of the wall, right? So I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm gonna pull the pin. I'm gonna toss it over. So I pull the pin, and as soon as I do that, they didn't hear me. They just run back, like, oh crap. So how these grenades are built is there's these small cylinders inside that if they fall out, it goes off. So I pulled the pin, and these cylinders are still intact. So I'm trying to put the pin back in.
So you pulled a Lemmy. You pulled a Lemmy-O.
I pulled a Lemmy, but it didn't go off. I slowly put it back in. I turned to the guy, and he's like huddled. He doesn't want the BBs to go off in his face.
Remind me never to be in a foxhole with you. Grenades now. We gotta conserve our grenades.
What is that? Ching!
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Hot potato.
All right, so why don't we do a recap of last game? The advantage of streaming our games is that Ahmed's all
my
caught
kids
up.
are killing themselves.
Even though
I'll
he
be right
missed
back.
last game, he watched.
Yeah, I
the
watched all
recording.
the episodes. They're awesome.
Yep. Wait, you watched them all? Anyways, so the first day of Oak, I've also created a calendar, like a roll of years, kind of in the Chinese style calendar for this campaign. So we can talk about that in a minute. So the first day of Oak, as the dawn broke to the new day, the villagers began to count their dead. The locals placed an important body, the body of the White Wizard or the Old Man, inside Sailor Wormbine for viewing. There were many wakes and funerals that were held on this day, including a massive pyre outside that was built for the invaders' corpses.
I think we missed a very important statement. When the guy said, "I'm gonna give you a gerb," or was that after this point? That was before the funerals was the gerb.
What did the guy say? What?
The Jarl wanted us to wear his bracelets to be his.
Oh, the hell with that!
Yes.
We're like-
There was a period of time where there were lots of funerals and things. Later in the day, the Jarl summoned the party. That part? Okay.
Yeah, that was the part. This is the part I want to hear.
First, the Jarl spoke of treachery of the attack. Then he speaks of the bravery of his soldiers and the townsfolk. And third, he then hailed the bravery and battle prowess of the new visitors and friends, claiming that the gods did indeed send these people in the town's greatest time of need. There were whispers from the priests, and then the Jarl declares his intention to resurrect ancient raiding traditions and offers you a place amongst his warriors. You got the sense that he wanted powerful people. He wanted to be associated to these powerful people. He offered them a chance to pay fealty and join his house as loyal Rovarum, and wear his band with his bronze band with honor and pride. Visibly disappointed, the Jarl saw one by one these visiting strangers refuse, some more polite and courteous than others. He took a moment to collect himself, and then he then tried to buy your loyalty.
It works much better that way.
He basically spun it that it would not behoove him to not reward heroic acts. So, as reward for success and good service to the town, he gave them three things. The first is that he granted them the honor of the spoil. which was basically allowing them to keep the treasures of the attackers plus what they already claimed, as per his privilege. So that's kind of a mental note that if you go raids with the Jarl, it might be the Jarl decides who gets what at the end, no matter what you do.
He needs better guards before he can choose decisions like that.
Well, that's why we roleplay. Two, he granted these heroes stay and at Sailor Wormbine for as long as they wish. If you recall, Sailor Wormbine is this hall that was kind of empty, filled with statues of gods and heroes, and made from the bones of a colossal dragon. The townsfolk themselves don't go there very often, perhaps in special periods of time. They did place the body of the White Wizard, or the White Old Man, or as Uker calls him.
Oh, wait a second, I got it in my note. He is talking the Mugen.
Right.
Talking the Mugen.
That. They placed him inside Sailor Wormbine. There was a strange sense of recognition of the old man. They whispered and called him like the White Wizard, the Old Man, something to do with Odin. They had great reverence for him. So the Jarl basically said, "Hey, great heroes, you can stay in Sailor Wormbine for as long as you want." And as chief of Runeshod, Jarl Hyeth of Rovland, he basically said, "You guys are welcome in his lands." Third, he bestowed a lordly gift where he said, "One by one, you may make requests of me now." Now, it was a kind of a trap in that if you asked for too much, it may have you may have insulted the Jarl even more, or kind of insulted the tradition of the people. This guy, you realize, is kind of tricky. Azildan asked for help to return home, and the Jarl agreed to share whatever information that they had, although you didn't really follow up on that one too much. Uker asked for information on how to slay Oni. In other words, how to figure out what the hell was the worm in the cake. I think you got as far as making friends with the local alchemist and the local witch and the local the two old ladies.
The wise women.
Right. One of which was a full-blooded orc who was an oracle who smelt like sulfur. So there was something strange about her. Galeth humbly asked for nothing, although he would come back and try to change that a little bit later. Oberon asked for access to libraries and to trade magical lore. The Jarl did have a dwarven wizard that served him, that wore one of his bracelets, much like his Rivarum guards. And she agreed. So the Jarl agreed. Lemmy-O asked for directions to Yggdrasil, and basically the Jarl pointed him towards Solvamanki, who is the full-blooded elven druid who tended to the Aoster spring inside of Runeshod. Critic asked for access to the forge. You guys saved Wayland as well as the smith named Sarah Morninghawk, and they were happy to let Critic use the forge, or at least kind of learn about forging, which is sort of what he did during his training. The townsfolk also gave some offerings to the people. It wasn't just a decree from the Jarl coming down, but the townsfolk did witness the bravery of the folks in saving Runeshod, and they'd give a number of things. After the awards were heaped upon the heroes, the Jarl continued on to more grave business. He then ordered the execution of two people. One, Tregor, was the half-orc that was captured, who looked like there was evidence that he was an orc Neskor that lived within the town, but he helped this orc invading army get into the town by laying traps and perhaps helping plan, like the sabotage of the gates and maybe even the timing. It was very suspicious that the orcs attacked right when the Jarl was having a funeral at night for his recently slain son. The second execution that he ordered was the drunk captain of the guard, Captain Omast. Apparently, he's been screwing up, and the Jarl kind of blames him, also his negligence, also like for the death of his own son, plus the negligence of not foreseeing the attack. So there was an order for execution there. The execution for the traitor was to be hung until dead and then stuffed into a crow's nest as a message to the other Orknesker living in town. The execution, or the method of execution for Omast, was to be stoned to death, and everyone in the town, he ordered, probably, he didn't explicitly say the new visitors or not, but he said everyone in the town must throw a stone, or if they don't, they'd be brought before him for further punishment. So Uker actually stood up and offered to throw the first stone. Later that day, he went and plucked the biggest rock he could move from the rubble of the from the rubble of the collapsed tower during the fight, which was basically a couple of ton, massive slab of stone.
A little over 3 tons.
On the second day of
Metric
Oak,
tons.
there were more mourning and funerals and wakes continue. The party members started to sort through their awards. Sir Galeth petitioned the Jarl to spare Omast, suggesting exile instead of execution. The Jarl listened to him, but refused, stating that Omast, as captain of the guard, knows too much about the defenses of the city and the people that live there, to just, with the risk of letting him fall into the hands of invading orcs or raiding orc armies or others. A funeral pyre is built for the White Wizard. At dusk, the fire is lit. The White Wizard's body burns blue. His spirit visibly rises from the body, and in a horrible screech, the resident Nethergeist appears. The White Wizard spirit flees off into the night sky like a bolt of lightning, with the dark Nethergeist in close pursuit. On the third day of Oak, the day of justice is meted out. The Orknesker traitor is hung until dead, his body placed on display. I also think that somewhere in there, Sir Galeth went to speak to the prisoners.
Correct.
And you asked
before petitioning.
Yeah. Did I miss that part? The Jarl. I'm kind of summarizing what's in the full journal. So you went and spoke to the prisoners, and you basically found that the Orknesker was not repentant. He was a follower of Grumsh, and registered as evil to your sense. Omast was kind of a broken man who was an alcoholic and probably dealing with his own remorse or guilt issues. Which kind of led you to petitioning the Jarl to save him. However, on the third day of Oak, Uker cast the first stone, his massive hunk of masonry, making everyone's stones kind of moot at that point in time. However, there were several people in the party that did not throw stones at all, and I think it was Sir Galeth and Isilden that just basically didn't throw a stone. Already defeated, kind of, the Jarl didn't make an issue of you guys not, dropping a stone onto the huge masonry block. But it was noticed. The fourth day of Oak, the town had a day of celebration. Isilden spoke to Miko and learned about the geography of Vosland. Isilden didn't recognize any of the geography and surmised that he's not on Agrova, that Vosland does not equal Agrova, like it's a different world. The Lakelanders are a name for the people that live in Vatnumi, that worship gods from the Suomi pantheon, and amongst their deities is Meliki. So there's a connection there, even though it may not be the same world. Also, the Lakelanders are very protective of the Elder Woods, and many of them are rangers and druids. Lemmy-O and Isilden speak to Solvamanki and learn that a great tree called Yggdrasil resides at the heart of the Elderwood. Solvamanki speaks about swamp-dwelling druids that died out when the orcs first came to Vosgard. While the druids failed in their task to protect the land, their lair may still contain magic that might be useful to the party. She tells Lemmy-O to ask them again if they plan to go to the Ghostlight Marsh to find the Vault of Thorns. Gallus speaks to Ingrid and shares a bit of family history. She shares some of hers as well, that she had 2 heroic grandparents, but her parents, living a life of of wealth from the bounty of her grandparents adventuring, wanted Ingrid to settle down with a good husband and have a happy house and home, but Ingrid was much more of a warrioress. They had a falling out, to make it short, and she joined the Temple of Helmdall and learned how to become a paladin underneath Trath, the High Watcher, in Runeshod. Galeth meets with the High Watcher Trath of Heimdall. The High Watcher believes that Galeth could benefit from Heimdall's teaching to temper the harsh nature of Tyr's judgment. The god Tyr, god of justice in the Norse pantheon, was very similar, or maybe associated with Nuada Silverhand from Galeth's world. The fifth, also on this day, Uther ventured back into the giant's tomb, and with great effort managed to move Jotun Granir a mere 5 feet.
Yes.
It's the hammer.
It cost 20 non-lethal damage.
Right.
The hammer that's really hard to move, not the hammer that does not move.
The hammer that moved just a little bit, right. On the 5th day, the party sells their spoils to the townsfolk. On the 6th day, the party members all start training. Then we kind of fold 10 days as they complete their training with the High Watchers, Varklo, Solva Manki, meditating at Sailor Wormbine. One of you guys practice archery with Cursed, speaking with Chal the Crone, Oberon training with a Grit, and then learning some things from Miko. So you guys were really interacting with a lot of the townsfolk. On the 16th day, you complete training in your classes for 5th level. Yay. Then there were some further downtime activities. In the journal, I'll post what you guys were doing, including brewing some potions, learning spells, researching non-standard spells. We talked about that in a previous episode. Copying scrolls. I think one wand was created by Oberon. And then there was the idea, hey, why don't we take those dire beasts and start to turn them into combat mounts?
That was awesome.
The Cavalier trained, instead of 3 weeks, trained the dire wolf in 3 days to accept Uther as his master. And then you started doing the same with the dire boar, but you never finished. Spell research and that training of the dire boar was interrupted. But we'll get to that in a moment, because Azildan went off to Zybor's Grove, met Zybor, who is this animal trainer, not horses though, and Azildan bonded with a northern Zerillo, i.e. a giant skunk, a really young giant skunk named Rosie. Now, this wasn't the DM throwing a weird animal at the guy who could bond with animals. This was Mark picking a specific animal, and he really wanted a skunk. So, Azildan, or he wanted a skunk for Azildan. So, yeah. The training was interrupted, however, as Oberon had gone missing. Azildan tracked Oberon to the vicinity of the rune-covered plinth of stone. Lemmy-O sees the magical connection between the small rune-etched stones and the plinth. The connection grows stronger the closer one gets to the stone, or brings their token closer to the stone. Sir Galeth leaves a written note on the door of Sailor Wormbine. We seek one of our own, and we take the way of the stone. If we do not return in a week's time, send word to the dwarves in the east. They have no love of orc or giant, Sir Galeth. The party then gathers up their mounts and companions. Sir Galeth upon Lamry touches the runestone to the plinth, and both of them disappear in a flash of white-bluish light. One by one, the party members do the same. The party finds themselves on a cliffside, high up in the mountains, next to a similar rune-covered plinth. A path cut into the rock winds up towards the landing that contains a round pavilion of pillars. Halfway up the path, they spot an unmoving Oberon, his new robes fluttering in the wind. Azildan's keen eyes notice that Oberon's flesh has been turned into stone. And this is where we left off the, pardon the pun, the cliffhanger of last game. Since Ahmed wasn't around during the downtime, and he's been really, really adamant that he wanted his character to do a few things, I'm going to allow these things to happen during his downtime. However, it can interrupt the training that he's already done, and it can interrupt the training that's already done by other people. The White Wizard's body was burned several days into the downtime, so there are some conditions where I'm not going to allow past to be affected, but we can go back and responsibly kind of describe some of the things that you would have been up to in the little bit of time you have while you were training, as well as. Right. So I think that's where we'll start the game, and then we'll talk about what it is that you learned and the actions that you take, and then we'll go back to the cliffhanger where everyone is staring up at Oberon, who has been turned to stone.
Okay.
So Lemmy, I think I'm in the Rune Shard map. No, I'm ahead of myself. Yeah, what do you want to do in Rune Shard?
So there are 3 things that are like events that I want to take place, and there's 3 things that I can kind of do passively. So I can start perhaps with the passively, get those out of the way. They're kind of comments to people or to Stumpworth to get him to do stuff, for example.
Sure. Let me expose the Rune Shard map for everyone, and
Yeah.
then we can. It might help jog some of your memory about what you wanted to do. Now,
I was just watching this yesterday. I'm fresh.
So keep in mind that there were some events that did happen that I suspect may or may not impact what it is that you're going to do. So what did you do right away? This is like the day after you guys had exited the cave and...
So right away, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a gentle repose on 4 bodies. The alchemist orc, which we found in the cave, that we followed in, and he died in front of the hammer. And I'm going to cast gentle reposes, the 4 gentle reposes. 1 on the alchemist, 2 on the
Can you cast 4
dune.
in a day, or are you...
No, it's 2 on the first day, and then 2 on the second day.
Okay, so you're isolating some of the bodies from the big pile that they're making outside. I think you already had, for a brief time, you gathered up the Doom Priest's body and the really mangled body of the half-orc alchemist from the cave. Like he got
skewered.
Almost he got almost sliced in half by
exploded by a crit.
Yeah, and then how did the Doom Priest die? Was that a charge by?
No, Luker kicked his ass off of his pig, and then he fell and landed on his head.
Right, so you've got...
He was on a wolf.
The bodies aren't completely destroyed, but they are battle
damage. Battle damage.
Sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a list here of the things that you're doing. Let me see if I can. Can you zoom on Notepad? View. No.
Zoom on Notepad? I don't think so, dude.
Let me just...
I'll see what it looks like on Twitch.
Do I have Word installed on this machine?
To a teacher.
WordPad will zoom.
I'll just use Word. I've got it open. View. Let me zoom in. Let me just...
Do you want me to send you the 6 things I want done?
No. The first step is you're going to gather the half-orc
alchemist, rogue alchemist, whatever he was, the guy going after the hammer or going into the area with the hammer. 1.
Yep, and then the Doom Priest, or the priest of this is the orc priest of Grumsh.
Yep.
And then
you might want to zoom in.
Sorry, the Doom Priest. So the Doom Priest, the alchemist, and then 2 other orcs. Just actually the beast trainers. Give me the 2 of the beast trainers.
Okay, so 2...
Oh no, wait, there was a bard. I'll take 1 of the bard and 1 of the beast trainers.
Okay, the I think it was an orc bard.
Yeah,
they're
both
drummer.
orcs.
And then
the guy in the tower.
Oh, orc drummer. And
I'd like to drum some orbs.
Motorbike. All right, and then
the drummer and the one of the animal trainers, controllers, whatever they're called.
Beast trainer. Okay, so
beast trainers. Yeah.
Where are you bringing the bodies? I assume that Stumpworth can move them for you because you're small and weak.
Yeah. He's like, this one, and that one. No, don't crush them, Tom. Just throw them up in your branches.
Where are you bringing them?
I'm going to leave them stored in the... Where are you? So, behind... We're not going to bring them into Wormbine. Say the Wormbine. I'm going to bring them, like, over here somewhere. like outside, but I'm gonna cover them. Get Stumpworth to put like cover stuff that basically kind of like bury them almost, but like wrap them up or whatever. So I'm not bringing them into here. I'm not bringing them into this place, but at least like try to protect them as much as you can.
There are plenty of side chambers in Sailor Wormbine that you could stick them in.
Okay, I'd like to do that. Okay. Something that's protected from.
All right, and then Azildan probably says something like, "Oi, you ain't gonna keep them in here. Why don't you keep them in your own quarters?" That was a horrible accent for Azildan.
Yep.
Yeah.
What did you say?
The DM has to do the accents of the characters that he didn't create when the characters don't show up. I have to go back and watch that episode again, and then I'd be able to do the voice. But so basically, in your quarters, you've got these 4 wrapped bodies.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, people have noticed that Stumpworth has taken the bodies, but it was early on enough that they may have not realized that you're storing them in Sailor Wormbine.
Yeah, I'll take them out at night.
Okay. So which ones are you casting?
Gentle Repose first? The first day is going to be... So because I'm 4th level, it's going to last for 4 days each.
Yep.
So I'm going to cast it on the Doom Priest and on the Alchemist first. Because I get 2 per day. So 1 for each of these on the first day.
Yep.
The next day I'm going to cast it on the other 2, which is the Drummer and the Beast Tamer.
So you're basically going to stagger. You're going to stagger.
I'm going to stagger it.
Might I just throw up a suggestion to make things easy? Take off 1 spell to be, like, just your Gentle Repose and 1 per day cast. I don't know how many spells you've used.
Well, he probably doesn't want to let them rot for 3 days. That last
True.
Part.
True.
It's every 3 days he's recasting all of his seconds. Which you can do. There is downtime. So you are General Repose, for those that don't know, is a spell, 2nd level cleric spell that basically keeps a body from rotting. It's usually used to keep a body kind of fresh for spells like Raise Dead. But I think I know what Ahmed's doing.
I'm talking to the wife because we're trying to figure out how much food when we're gonna eat because we're fasting. 7 p.m.
Okay.
You were fasting while you were... Was it?
No, I didn't fast.
Last week wasn't...
No. It was, but I wasn't fasting. That's nuts.
Okay, because I was going to say that's fucking insane. You'll die.
Salad, there's the chicken upstairs. The place closes at 9. We're good.
Lemmy-O, you've got some bodies.
Let's go look at the bodies, Dave!
Okay, so you do that right away. And then you find that it's not uncommon for people to bring bodies into Sailor Wormbine because they start setting up, the villagers start setting up the body of the White Wizard inside Sailor Wormbine.
How long does he stay in there? Does he stay there 1 night?
Yeah, it's not very long.
Okay, because that 1 night, I'm trying. If there's nobody watching him, I want to examine his body.
Okay. All right, so Lemmy-O.
I want to make sure that I remember how he's set up so that I can reset him up the same way.
This is the evening. We can say that Uker and Galith are there when they see Lemmy-O hop up and start to like poke around at the White Wizard's body that's sort of lying in a pyre.
I see. I'm doing this because I remember something. I remember when we came in the first game. Oberon, I believe, looked at him, or I looked at him, and we did a heal check, and we realized he did not have a navel. Now, I remember this. Maybe I'm crazy because I got bad memory, but something's weird about this guy. I'm gonna check it out. I want to get a blood sample from somewhere. Like if he has a wound, I'll try to take a blood sample from it. And a bit of his hair.
So he's been dressed in a simple white garment. It wasn't the white robes that Oberon's now wearing. But it's a simple funerary garment.
Robbing the dead.
We did a lot of that.
Yeah, Oberon.
He did it.
Oberon convinced the party, although
guy.
perhaps not very well, that you guys should use his items until you find, I think, as Uker put it, his wife or his next of kin. Yes, so you would have to kind of start on dressing him to get a full like view of his body.
Yeah. Just, hey, Ooker, or Galith, can one of you guys give me a hand? I want to try to understand what the hell's going on. Perhaps maybe looking at this guy might give us a hand, might give us a hint.
Ooker's looking for a soft-ish fruit to throw at the little man if he's being an asshole. And walks
Not
over.
being an a-hole. We're stuck in a place we've never been before. You telling me you don't understand what's happening?
For,
Like a soft fruit, it was a potato.
A potato.
Ow.
Potato.
Ruben hit with a potato.
I swear I'll summon some vermin at you. Mess with that for an hour.
What?
So let me go to the conversation layer, and I'll put down a token for the old man, just to remind people what he looks like.
I'm gonna post Stumpworth outside the door, and if anyone's coming, he's going to knock on the door like dong dong dong. My lookout.
So there's the old man. Let's see what he looks like.
What are you doing?
Need to understand more about this guy. Perhaps there's some tattoos or some scars. Something that can tell us more about him. Who he was, why he brought us here. What his deal is. Maybe there's something on him. So he's doing detect magic, he's gonna do a heal check, he's gonna do knowledge of nature, see his features if they're from here.
He does not radiate magic. Doing the heal check, you do kind of get him undressed enough so that you're looking for... Can I take a 20? Well, what's the question that you're trying to ask with the heal check?
What is different about this guy? Is there any indication of maybe his diet, or like what was he eating? Maybe I can kind of figure out where he was living, how old he is his vision perfect? Does he have arthritis? Things like, is he a normal person, or what's his deal?
So you're giving him a post-mortem physical. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a heal check.
Take 20?
No.
Okay. And I said I want to take some of his blood and hair.
Although on the flip side, I think you're allowed to take 10. I don't see anything stressful in this.
23.
Well, you rolled an 11, so...
There we go.
He appears to be more or less human.
Okay.
He's probably old age. He's healthy for being old age, which is making it hard to determine his exact age.
Calluses on his hands and feet from walking, from doing whatever.
Yeah, it looked like he wore sandals, so he's got a bit of like wear on his feet. Okay.
A slouch in his back?
Nope. He is a very, very healthy old man.
Does he have a writer's bump?
Yeah.
On his finger?
Yeah.
So you check his hands. His hands are not farmer's hands, but they're not like really delicate noble's
Are
hands.
they practitioner of magic's hands?
Hand of great hero.
I.e., people who practice magic have a little bit of...
Well, you know that he practiced magic because Oberon said he had a wizard's robe and wand. You can give me a knowledge arcana if you want.
I want to try to learn as much as I can about this guy.
Yep.
Considering we know... First day, we know nothing.
We know everything.
So
now you know everything.
Hero
But first night, we don't know anything. 18?
No.
Yeah, you see the telltale signs of wizard magic, and his body was taken care of right away. You do find some of the diamond dust residue kind of in the hairs on his arm and hands. Like,
okay.
What's this stuff? Salt? No, it's... Oh, you remember you found a pouch of diamond dust on him, so you do
okay,
find...
so his... Okay. Alright. Okay. I'd like to take some of his blood and some of his hair.
As for his condition, you don't know how he died.
Nope.
Uker's not helping you get blood.
Does he have any wounds on him at all?
There are no visible wounds. Now
Okay.
there are other ways that old people die.
Yeah.
But you've basically crossed off your list physical trauma.
Okay. What do I have on my person that will allow me to take blood? Like a syringe?
Then you asked about his
or...
eyesight, so you're checking into his eyes.
Yeah.
23. He did undergo some sort of stress. You're seeing some broken blood vessels.
Okay. Okay. Perhaps it was very demanding for him to bring us here. I mean, extra planar travel for 6 individuals.
Maybe he sneezed very hard.
I'm not sure what happened to him exactly.
He's a great hero. Great hero does
Actually,
not sneeze hard to
it was
break.
fairly certain it had something to do with us coming here, or bringing us here, but what it is I'm not sure. Hopefully we don't find out by accident. Alright.
And then you mentioned his navel. Yeah, his navel is not a regular navel. It looks more like there's a strange pattern around where the navel is, and the navel's an odd shape.
Knowledge.
The navel's more
nature?
of a diamond shape, and it's got kind of like hooks all around it, like little.
Knowledge, nature, or knowledge, religion, maybe? Like, was it done by, is it like cosmetic almost, or was it done to him? Like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like piercings?
Yeah, they look like scars.
Scars.
The strange markings around the diamond shaped navel itself look like scars.
But he doesn't have it, like, his navel's different, period.
Well, most people don't have diamond-shaped navels.
Got it.
Shine like a diamond.
I'm gonna ask Oberon. I'm gonna ask Oberon and
Still all
Locric.
kind of scar tissue, right? But
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Oberon and Locric to take a look at it, and I'm gonna do knowledge, maybe, so nature, and see if maybe he magicked it. Some magic did this for him. Enhanced
Luger's gonna
himself or
check his
something?
belly
I don't know.
button just to for comparison.
So I guess I'll do a knowledge arcana. I'll do a knowledge arcana and a knowledge nature.
How big he is.
Marty, I'll do a knowledge arcana and a knowledge nature on him. Nature first to see what the fuck's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to Oberon and Locric to see what their input is.
Oberon comes over and he sort of sniffs, like, looks down at the body a little bit. He doesn't seem to be as curious as you are. What exactly are you looking for?
Really, anything to tell us who this guy is? Or where he came from, or where his... Like, have you noticed that he doesn't have a house here?
Yes,
He's not from here. He is Saga the Mugen.
What did Oberon say?
Yes, he arrived with us.
Right, so perhaps we can figure out where he came from. That might be really useful. And if I can get any information from just looking at his body, I will. Like this, for instance. His navel. Have you ever seen anything like that on any animal or any creature? I haven't, not in nature.
Perhaps some sort of scar from an insect bite.
Sorry, not in nature. 17.
No insect that you know of that latches on to the navel that has a perfect 4 kind of pronged.
My friend, you might be a good wizard, but just leave the insects and the animals alone for me, all right? If I ruled that one out right off the start.
Uger motions like a stabbing kind of.
As I said before, the way that he was equipped means that he was no better than the rest of us. In fact, he was likely worse off. And Oberon wanders away.
But he is the one that brought us here. So he knew.
I highly doubt it.
Nah, he brought me here. That's for sure.
Oberon,
Blockrick, what do you
Oberon's
think?
saying that due to the low-level power of the things that the guy was carrying, he highly doubts that he cast anything like what brought you here.
He cast the ninth circle spell required to sort of pluck people from all the planes.
Right.
Blockrick,
I need 5 gate spells a stack.
Right. Oberon would be wearing, like, in his mind, he'd be wearing, like, robes of the Archmagi right now, if that's what this guy did.
Yeah.
He thinks he'd be wearing this. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that that's the correct conclusion. That is Oberon's conclusion. Lowcrick has been just watching you slowly smoking on a pipe, keeping his distance, like he's more respectful of the situation, or perhaps even sees you crawling around on the body, undressing the dead guy. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's distancing himself in the eyes of the gods from this sort of exercise.
According to Lemmy, it's just the body's gone. The body's already gone. Like he's not there anymore. His spirit leaves like a few days later. Like, oh crap. Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, in fact, with your high wisdom, Lowcrick seems reluctant to come over and join you in what you're doing.
Okay, so knowledge nature didn't do anything. I'll do a knowledge arcana, see if I can get anything out of that.
I think you already rolled one, 18.
No. That was...
You were asking to see if he was a wizard, and the question now is...
Oh, that was on his... Yeah, I looked at his hands. Yeah, yeah, okay, sure, it's the same one.
Yeah.
Okay. I will draw it. Just draw it and keep a copy of it.
Okay.
And I'll take a snippet of his hair and extract a bit of blood and
write down on your character sheet that you've got a snip of hair from the old man. You're taking some coagulated blood. It does appear to be human blood.
Okay, so this is going.
Where are you taking the blood from? Does it matter?
CSI Rune Shot.
I'll try to take it. I'll try to take it from his hand.
Okay.
So.
Uker just sort of flicks Lemmy on the side of the head, and then points to like the thigh.
All right, perhaps there's more blood in there. Lock of hair and blood.
We might put his clothes back on. We can't see.
Copy of pattern, diamond pattern.
Yeah, you've got a piece of paper that is basically the old man's navel.
Of his navel.
Okay.
Well.
At least we did do chalk rubbings or something like.
So I'll. Why are you rubbing it with your? Oh God. So I'll dress him up again, and we'll.
Okay. So you've got hair, blood sample, and a sketch of
thing.
A sketch of his navel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing I will do is they said they wanted to do a moat, or they wanted to do bodies or whatever. I'll go talk to one of the.
So the state of the town is that there are orc bodies everywhere, as well as people bodies, and the thing that they seem to be concerned about as well as there are some contraptions that have been sabotaged along the gates. This is likely part of the Orc-Nesker infiltrators, or perhaps those deadly assassins with the battle axes. One of the two. Could be something else. And then, so there are bodies in the streets, and then one of the towers collapsed in the center of the town, and there's a lot of debris in general to be cleared. So if you're looking for something for Stumpworth to do, that might be a good start.
All right, so I'll talk to the guard captain. Curtis? I can't remember his name.
Cursed? Yeah,
or
Cursed. Cursed is...
Cursed, that's right. Why are you cursed?
So you learned that his father is the patrol captain, not the guard captain, and he's been gone on patrol for quite some time. They do go out for long excursions, so he's not concerned at this point. Cursed would be one of his sons. He's got an older brother who's actually higher ranking than him, but Cursed seems to really like the heroes. Ever since you told the joke about him being cursed, and then he's been practicing archery with the Zildin.
Cool.
So yeah, you easily get his attention.
Karst, my friend. Look, I'm going to be busy for the next few days, and Stompworth here can be some use. I was just looking at the city, at your town, and I think there's two main things that Stompworth can help you with. One I'd suggest is, first thing is getting the bodies of the deceased friend or foe off the streets and getting them in one place location.
Yeah, we're building a pie outside for the attackers.
Right. What I'd suggest here, man, is tell them to go around and put red paint on the faces of all the ones that you want moved. And Stompworth here will go around the whole town and pick up any body that has red paint on his face. Just make sure no sound person likes to paint their face red. You don't have any hearts in here, do you?
He smiles. He looks a bit. Yeah, we could use the mighty tree, Stumpworth. Stumpworth is your name?
Answer him, yes. I can't talk yet.
All right. Sure.
So Stumpworth, follow. Any paint? Well, I'll tell him. Just when you're done with the paint, let me know, and I'll send him off to do the task. And afterwards, perhaps he can help you clear some of those boulders.
He's not that bright, is he?
He doesn't really understand you. He'll have to take instructions from me.
Why don't you come and we can do the first few, and then we'll see if you can.
Sure, not a problem. I can spare a few minutes.
All right. Curse seems to be interested genuinely in helping out the druid and his walking tree. Curse, you learn, is sort of a ranger type. He's sort of an outdoorsman. So he gets along. He gets along nicely with Lemmy-O, and he's willing to trade in some patience for Stumpworth's strength in helping move bodies and clear rubble. Basically, he'll run around with red paint, and anything that he wants moved will be splattered with red paint.
Yeah.
All right. So you're training Stumpworth to react to red paint.
I smell burnt toast.
There are two things that I don't know.
Okay, so you've gathered up bodies. You've looked at the White Wizard. You now need to train, I think.
I need to train. There are two things, and I don't know when they happen. I just need to know if people are going to tell me or not. First thing I need to know is, does Euchre tell us that he was able to? Does he know anything about the hammer? Does he? Because does he say anything to us about the hammer?
Has not shared his private moment moving the hammer.
Only the old ladies know.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Does Azildon? Do I know that there's a map in town? Do I get to hear that there's a map in town? I don't remember if I was there or not. I do. Okay.
You get to glance at the map, so I will open the map to show you.
The idea was Lemmy's gonna pay. I can't remember Mika. What's his name?
Mika the Lakellander. Yeah.
Yeah, pay him to see if he can get a copy, a rough sketch copy of the map.
Well, you can come here anytime that you wish and have a look at the map. It's a work of art that shows the entire continent that you're on.
Yeah, no, I just wanna be able to say, like, basically use it from a navigator's point, like coastline, mountains.
Okay. Do you have any profession, cartography, craft, map making?
No, I have. Give me a sec. Sorry. I have survival and I have profession guide. So it's not really. Knowledge geography. So
yeah, so you could read maps from profession guide and knowledge geography, but being able to read from an atlas is much different than the skill set of building the atlas.
Okay, that's fair.
So he can commission one. He says it might be expensive. Let's see. He can get a. The thing is like on a huge table, and he'd have to get the right vellum and the right workers. You could take definitely sketches of it that give you rough directions. And
that's what I want.
Okay, so
have someone do it, and I'll come back a few days later, like take a look over it, and that's good enough.
Okay, so during downtime in your off hours, you are now spending time making sketches of the map. So.
Oh, okay. I was gonna pay someone a few gold to go and do it, and then I'll just go and check it over.
If you want something accurate like he's got, it's gonna be 200 gold pieces.
Nope, can't afford that. So I'm gonna have to spend an hour every night and maybe go and try to
Okay, so
for half an hour and try to
representing your sketch of the continent. Give me